to invite Laurence Bacchus, our final speaker for tonight. Laurence Bacchus, Beyond Reasonable Doubt. Beyond Reasonable Doubt, Laurence Bacchus.
Challenge! If you have ever served on a jury, you will have heard this word. And I have a problem with the way this challenge is being used in jury selection. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I remember my first jury service. I'd been selected with 200 people. 40 of us were chosen and went into a courtroom. From here, 12 people would be chosen one by one to go up into the jury box and serve in an objective and unbiased way. They chose me. Yes! I began the long, slow walk to the jury box. The defendant was standing there arrogantly, feet apart, strangler's hands clasped behind him. Prison tattoos visible. Everything about him screamed out, "I'm guilty!" He must have sensed something, because as I walked past behind him, he turned and looked at me. I could see the fear in his eyes. He knew. I knew. He was guilty. He had a sheen of sweat on his forehead, probably drug withdrawal symptoms. He was definitely a shady character. I did not need a trial to see that he was guilty. He was wearing a suit, which I suppose made a change from what he usually wore, a balaclava and ski mask, and sawn-off shotgun, terrorising defenceless old pensioners in psychopathic pea-fuel rampages. He had all the hallmarks of a violent offender, and I was going to put him away where he belonged, in prison. After an objective and unbiased trial, of course. However, as I walked to the jury box, I'd almost got there when I heard, "Challenge!" Oh, why? Why did they challenge me? Was it my gender? Would I have been more sympathetic if I were a female? Or was it my age, or my race, or was I just dressed too well? You see, if you dress too well, you could be too educated and therefore smart enough to see through the pitiful charade of the left-wing namby-pamby defence lawyers, trying to disguise the obvious guilt of their clients. So the defence team will challenge anyone with more than 2 brain cells, leaving a jury of the lowest common denominator. A jury full of ignorant people who can be easily manipulated. I looked at the jury after selection. They sat there grinning like fools. If only they knew. They looked like a bunch of retarded inbred hillbillies with a combined IQ of half a Roman sandal. Well, I needed a strategy to get onto the jury, and I I thought, I've just worked out what it is. So the next time I was called for jury service, I went in wearing my old clothes. I had my Bob Marley rainbow-coloured hat, and I had my iPod. Buffalo soldier from the heart of America. Buffalo soldier, dreadlock rasta. Yes, I was a low-life degenerate who would sympathise with someone who was obviously guilty. However, beneath my harmless facade, I had come prepared to put these people away where they belonged, in prison, after an objective and unbiased trial, of course. And ever since I worked out the formula for getting onto the jury, I have been performing my civic duty just as often as I can, weeding out the dregs of society, the thieves, rapists, murderers, and anyone else I don't like the law. So if you ever hear of someone being committed for trial, there's a good chance that I will be there on the jury, objective and unbiased, of course, ready to see that justice will be served.